to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. And Eric, good to have you back. This episode is brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Download the app and join us this week, Friday or Saturday evening, as we get into the action. We talk about the Astros versus the Rangers series coming this weekend, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight, right, Eric?
Yes, and this time we'll be talking about a little bit different Rangers. They've traded a whole bunch of their pitchers, a whole bunch of their players. Joey Gallo's gone, Gibson is gone, and a whole bunch more. So a lot to talk about on this episode, and a little bit more into what happened with Alex Bregman, a little bit more into some decisions or lack thereof of what happened in the win on what I don't even know what day of the week this is anymore, but and that comeback win where Jake Myers walked it off, and some decisions that Dusty Baker made. So we'll talk a little bit more about this, but we also need to talk a little bit about what's going to happen when Jose Urquidy comes back, because there's some decisions that have to be made. But there's a lot to talk about on this episode of the Locked On Astros podcast. But I'm glad to be back. Thank you, everybody, for the well wishes. And I did get a chance to really watch everything and watch y'all's podcast yesterday. And one of the things y'all did address was the Justin Verlander. And I know that y'all talked about it, but basically James Click said that they told him with the data surgery, could he go ahead and pitch in postseason? Possibly. Yes, but he would be as a reliever, something he hasn't done before. Could he possibly injure himself? Yes. So I think that they decided that this would not be a good idea for Justin Verlander to do. And so now James Click can now go from, okay, well, we could potentially bring him back this season. Now they can potentially say, okay, well, what are we going to do to possibly bring him back? So the Astros can offer him a qualifying offer. And so that would be about $18.9 million if it holds true from last year. Now, would Justin Verlander take that? Who knows if he has any type of loyalty to, because basically he got paid for nothing this year.
He got paid $33 million, and I really have a hard time believing that he'll take a qualifying offer of 18.9. I really see him going back to Detroit, Eric, because Detroit has the money to offer him something. Carlos Correa is a possible lander in Detroit as well. That's being kind of talked about hush-hush a little bit underneath different circles here and there, I'm hearing. But Justin Verlander also saves the Astros 26 of that $33 million they recoup insurance-wise. It's still a cap hit. But so for the Astros, financially speaking, it's a better move. And when you're this late in your career, why would you risk an injury? He's not going to do that. His arm is an asset. He's still valuable. Who knows? Maybe he sits down with his family and they decide to stay and they have a change of heart. Maybe they end up keeping Carlos Correa and they sign him to a mega deal, which I don't think will happen. But let's say they do that, best case scenario, and Justin Verlander signs a qualifying offer. Why not, welcome him back with open arms? I just don't think that's likely. I just hate knowing that he didn't get to pitch this year and contribute because this team is so good. And pitching has been a struggle, not necessarily because of performance, at times performance for the bullpen, but because of injuries. And this team has weathered a lot of pitching storms.
Right. And so Click said, could he have done it? Yes, but it would have had tremendous risk for just the efficiency of the surgery and everything else. So the doctors advised him strongly against it. So I'm glad that he did it because he really does want to pitch till he's 45. And so if he really wants to continue pitching, then it's best that he does not pitch this year. So the Astros have Jose Urquidy, who did pitch 4 innings the last start. He's going to make one more start, and then he'll be able to come back once rosters expand. And here I am. I'm thinking that the rosters are going to expand to 40 like they did in old days, but they're actually only going to go to 28 players. So you're probably only going to have Jose Urquidy come up and maybe one other pitcher, maybe one other position player. I don't know what
you still have Belak down there.
Yeah.
You still have Anoli, right?
Josh
Isn't
James
still. Josh James. Yeah. Josh James before either one of those two that I mentioned. Probably.
Yeah. So when we're talking about rosters expanding, don't think that everybody's going to be coming up. So,
right.
So that's just something that we have to think about. So speaking of rosters expanding, and no, for those of y'all watching this replay, Robel Garcia is not going to be coming up. So I can already hear it. Ooh, Eric, you want Robel Garcia?
We should have a segment called Robel Watch.
No, we shouldn't.
Or where in the world is Robel Garcia? How's that?
So I know Alex Bregman came back up, and I didn't get a chance to talk about this, and he looked really good, but Dusty Baker was really hesitant in the 10th inning because he was the guy who was on second base, and he was asking the physical trainers. He was saying, "Okay, can he be out there? Should he be out there running?" And they didn't want to send him. When I forgot what the situation, but they didn't want to send him home on the certain hit, and they're being very cautious with him. And so basically, Dusty Baker is telling Alex Bregman, "You're going to have to rewire yourself," and we've all had to do that to find a way to stay in the lineup. I've urged him to play smart and pass. If you're out, you're out. If the fans get on you for not hustling, if you don't understand the need for you staying in the lineup, you have to play another day and another day and another day. Hopefully, there is a need to play smart. We've seen that this year with Michael Brantley. We've seen this also this year with Yordan Alvarez, where a lot of teams would say, "Hey, they're not hustling." But I think Dusty Baker is saying, "Hey, we want you to play healthy and stay healthy. So don't go out there all out hustle." But Bregman has said that he's actually kind of done a pregame, routine with the two
right.
athletic trainers, Jeremiah Randall and Jeff Lewis. This is something that he hasn't really done in the past, but he's trying to stay healthy for the rest of the season, and he's trying to get in better routine so he can stay healthy.
Yeah, and definitely, and just sharing some of the quotes that he's said that you found here. You know, he says, "I think overall the hip complex is getting stronger for me. Whether it's the hip flexion or the abduction extension, all that stuff is getting stronger, and we're working to strengthen that daily. The hamstrings and quads and calves and big muscle groups are strong and right where they need to be. Running mechanics, I've looked into all that a little bit. Overall, I think it's just back to the basics, the game plan, back to the basics, kind of like going along with what you said, Dusty Baker said. And then he said, it's about not putting myself in a higher risk to injure myself, but also playing hard, playing how I've always played. I need to make it to the batter's box as many times as possible every year. I'm not a burner by any means. So if I'm not out by 2 steps instead of 4, if I'm out by 2 steps instead of 4, I'm out. At the same time, there's something inside of you. I grew up playing baseball, the game, and I was taught to play with my hair on fire. It's been an adjustment. And so this, Eric, could be a huge turning point in Alex Bregman's career. We've seen athletes in Houston, like, if you look back, and I'm going to make a football comparison, you look at J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt played at a high level for 4 or 5 years in the NFL, and his body literally broke down. And he went over all the bruises and all the injuries he had, right? Bregman is in a less impactful sport, but a high importance on his legs. And if he takes care of his body, he's going to lengthen his career and he's going to get more at bats in his career.
Yeah.
And and that's a tough mindset to switch. His whole life, he's been the spark plug. Now he's got to be the tempered vet. So that's a good thing for him to discover right now.
You know what? It sounds like Jeremiah Randall needs a big box of Built Bar for helping Bregman.
He does. Yes, I know. I agree. And if we get an address to send him one, we should probably send him a few, or maybe toss him some at the next game we attend. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar in the business. Why? It's wrapped in 100% chocolate. It's basically a candy bar that's good for you. If you're the healthy, conscious guy or girl and you're looking to lose or maintain weight, you need to go to built.com. They have so many flavors. Raspberry mint brownie. I literally had a grasshopper cookie today and actually had a raspberry as well. Phenomenal flavor. 17 to 18 grams of protein, calories ranging from 130 to 180, 4 to 5 grams of sugar, 4 to 5 grams of net carbs, all the flavors. They're all tasty. They're all healthy. People like the USA track and field team eats them. I know college football teams consume them. Heck, even Locked On hosts consume them. And so if you want to get in the game like nobody's business, go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your order. That's Locked On for 15% off on your first order.
Alrighty, so after surgery, I would love to wheel myself in with my little scooter to Hooters and order me some wings. I can't have any beer right now, but that sounds really good. Tell us about Hooters on NASA.
Yeah, definitely. So are you ready for some love bites, Eric? We know that even if you're not into spicy, you are into hot. That's why all of our seriously craveable flavors are the best of the best. Wings, burgers, shrimp, all the things that make you drool. 20796 Gulf Freeway in Webster, Texas. That's zip code 77598. Put it in your GPS. Drive to Hooters today for lunch or dinner. Bring the family or friends. Enjoy some buds with your buds. Go watch the Houston Astros take on the Arlington Rangers and watch them just set the world on fire as Bregman and Tucker are back in. They have so many options, Eric. I mean, you and I have been there. The service is great. The food is great. It is just a phenomenal place. All the waitresses are there just to make sure that you are happy, you are smiling when you leave. You can go to their website right now and enter for a $100 gift card. They draw one every week. Why not you get in the game and go to Hooters? There's no cover charge, and they have your favorite Hooters calendar girls there in cutoff jeans and cowboy boots. And on Thursday nights, they have Texas Thursdays, and you can dance to Copper Road with the Hooters girls. So go to Hooters Webster. Again, let me give you the address. It is 20796 Gulf Freeway. Check them out today.
Alrighty, so I know that something else you talked about yesterday was Carlos Correa, and I don't want to really talk a lot about that, but there are a lot of people the Astros can go out and get. Trevor Story, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Javi Baez.
Pedro Leon.
I know. So those are some of the big time names. You have Andrelton Simmons, Alcides Escobar, Freddie Galvez are some low end names, and then you have some in house people, Pedro Leon and Jeremy Pena. So there's some in house names. So you also have Aledmys Diaz, who could play some shortstop. I know a lot of people don't really see Alex Bregman as a full time shortstop anymore. I think they see him more as a third baseman. But there are some options out there. Now, will the Astros outbid other teams for those players? I don't know, but I don't really want to spend a lot of time on this. But the player that I would like to see the most, I would say, out of those names is Marcus Semien. I think that he's had a kind of breakout year. I mean, I think he's the one who's kind of affordable out of those names. Trevor Story, I don't know what he can do outside of Coors Field. Corey Seager, I don't know if Astros fans would like to have him over here.
I think it's priced too. I think Boris is going to price him out of the Astros market.
And Javi Baez, I think now that he's playing with Lindor up in New York, I think he's going to find a way to play in New York. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. So we'll see. And I just don't see the Astros going out and signing one of the big guys.
You know, I don't. The only thing I think that moves this needle in the favor of the Astros signing Carlos Correa is if they give him a deal that's not 10 or 12 years, but a big
Right.
enough deal at 6 to 8 years, but it's going to have to be for a lot of money, between 37 and 40 million a year. And maybe you talk him into staying on a shorter contract.
But it doesn't help. Mark Berman tweeted this out earlier today that he has the highest position WAR
He
of all the
does.
players in baseball. And do you know who has the highest pitching WAR? Freaking Wade Miley. What's up with that?
So on that note, with Wade Miley, is WAR really that important? Because is he really the most valuable pitcher
I
out
mean,
there?
Shohei Ohtani wasn't even on there, and I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, WAR is a funny it's a funny statistic. I mean, that is odd. I know Shohei Ohtani woos crowds. He hasn't been super stellar pitching lately.
Right.
He gave up like 3 home runs and struck out 7 batters, but then the next game he leads off with a home run, and 41 home runs now Shohei Ohtani has. Yeah, I can't wait till he gets to 50. I'm going to offload some of his cards.
Right. So I know that the Astros, going back to Jose Urquidy, I know the Astros have, I believe, starting today, they have like 2-3 Thursdays off. And then starting the September 10th, they'll have 17 games with no days off.
Wow.
So likely in September, they're going to go to a six man rotation. This will help alleviate some of the innings workload of Luis Garcia. Basically everybody. Everybody's a little bit overworked except for maybe I think everybody is, except for Framber Valdez, since he missed the first 2 months of the season or so. So I think that that's what you're going to see. We've talked about possibly a piggyback situation with Jake Odorizzi, but I really think that you're going to see a 6-man rotation. I think that.
Yeah, and I think with the way Luis Garcia pitched this last time too, 2 of his last 3 starts have been really good. And I know, because we had discussed, I guess maybe a week or 2 ago, about he seemed like he was kind of wearing down a little bit. He didn't look like he was wearing down at all that last start. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job, and
Right.
for him to get in tough situations and get out of them and still win and just, be part of a shutout, that's huge.
Right. So a lot of people have been talking about Dusty Baker leaving Lance McCullers in. And I know that he said his biggest regret was he said that the wind bailed him out after second guessing himself for not pulling McCullers after he walked Emmanuel Rivera to put 2 runners on in the 7th inning. And then McCullers wound up walking the 9th hitter, Cam Gallagher, to load the bases. And then he brought in Christian Javier, who then gave up the grand slam. So we've had this situation before where basically Baker went out there and in a not nice way, McCullers said, "I'm not leaving." And so what we saw in this situation was Strami go out there instead of Baker and talk to him, and they left him in. And on a certain way, this was Baker saying, McCullers, you're the ace of the staff, sort of. I'm going to go ahead and give you this opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was giving him the respect, but at the same time, was this him avoiding confrontation?
Yeah, I don't know. Dusty Baker, remember, he's the guy that Greinke said, he's the reason why he said, I trust the Astros, or the Astros trust me. Dusty Baker has a history of pitchers that have had shortened careers and have not done well because he let them go too long. Okay. You notice this year, he seems to be, sometimes he lets guys go long, but a lot of times he pulls guys short. So I think he has a tendency to want to be there for the pitcher and his health and the long-term effect, because it's on record. Strasburg, Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, those are big names. You remember when he was the coach of the Nationals, Strasburg was shut down and they didn't even let him pitch in the playoffs. I believe as a rookie or something, like rookie or second-year player, and that was Dusty had overused him. So here's the thing with that. What I thought was interesting was when he got pulled out, did you notice the cameras After Javier gave up that home run, they didn't follow Whit Merrifield around the bases. They went straight to the dugout to show Lance McCullers. And he hopped off the stairs, threw his glove. But then Dusty said, and a key thing, the guys bailed me out. I made a mistake. The guys bailed me out. It wasn't that I made a mistake because I trusted McCullers. It was I knew he should have come out because I felt like it was better to take him out then. And then the guys came in and picked me up. When a manager tells you that the players picked him up, that to me speaks volumes. That's going to send reverberations into the playoffs, Eric, just like that meeting he had with them last year.
Right. Yeah. So I think I mean the outcome of the game ended up pretty good. So
Yeah.
I guess we can't really get onto it, but there's a lot of people on Twitter that just blame Dusty for every situation, and I'm talking to one of them, and I bet on.
Hey, I have turned over a new leaf, Eric. I have people commending me for my positive attitude towards Dusty Baker.
Are you betting on that, like betonline.ag will?
You would mention
about that.
Let's do that. It's that time of year when all eyes are turning from football. Well, we know that our Astros fans are still focused on Locked On Astros, but the gridiron, it's the start of the season. Not only pro football, but college football. And always BetOnline is your number one spot for all pro and college football action. Get all the updated odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest, the world's largest $200,000 NFL survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. That's right, 100% of what you put in, they add to it. Be sure to take advantage of their opening day super promo. Make a bet on Thursday, September 9th, season opener between the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys. If you lose, your wager will be refunded up to $25. For new customers only when signing up and using the promo code NFL100. BetOnline is that fast and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports: football, baseball, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite casino games. That's right. Don't wait and take advantage of the great offers that are here today for the 2021 season. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Use a promo code Locked On.
All right, so we're facing the Rangers. Like we said, they're down a few players, and they are 44 and 83. Last I checked, that's not a very good record. That's winning.
Yeah, this isn't golf. We're not trying to score the lowest.
Okay, that's a winning percentage of 346. They are 31 games behind the Astros. So that's not good. They are 3-7 in their last 10 games. They have a negative 153 run differential. The Astros have a 183 plus 183 run differential. And you know what's something that's depressing? Orioles fans. You know what their run differential is?
What is it?
Negative 223. They actually won. They've won 2 games in a row, but
they're on a win. They're on a bona fide win streak.
So like the host was celebrating a win, and I looked at their run differential yesterday. I'm like, holy crap, that's pathetic. But I guess you celebrate whenever you can. But the Mariners are playing pretty good. They're winning 3 in a row. But I don't know if you talked about this yesterday. The Yankees are playing the A's.
Oh yeah, we did.
Do you root for you root for the Yankees? I know they're on a win streak, and you could potentially play them in the playoffs. But you definitely want to get that lead in the division because I think it's easier to win in the division. And you didn't read my my little comment yesterday in the thing, but I way back after Jose Altuve had his shirt ripped off, I said it would be great for baseball to have a Yankees versus Astros playoff series because there would be so much drama. It would be great.
Oh, it would be. I'm here for all the smoke. I know the Astros are, especially with Bregman coming back. Dude, you want to play the Yankees. But you want the Yankees to sweep the Oakland A's because then you get a chance to build your lead. The Yankees right now, as we speak, and it may be a different story when you wake up in the morning, but last I checked, they were up on the Oakland A's 6-2. So yeah, it seems to be a pretty commanding lead, but Oakland's been pesky this year, Eric. They've scored late. They've scored a lot of runs late, and that's where they've won a lot of their games. Here's the thing with the playoffs, Eric. Bottom line is you want to play the best teams. I don't mind the Yankees getting hot right now. I hope they win 25 games in a row. You know why? Because if they do that, they're more than likely not going to be able to keep that up in the playoffs. So do like the Cleveland Indians. Win like 20, 22 games in a row, get to the playoffs, and bug out in the ALDS or ALCS. It is going to be, dude, it was drama-filled during the regular season.
Right.
Imagine another ALCS between the Astros and the Yankees, and then when the Astros win, what excuse will Yankees fan base make for the Astros beating their team once again? I'm sure there will be something. I'm sure Beltran's niece will get back on Twitter and talk about how they had like rockets in their shoes this time or something. There's going to be some crazy conspiracy theory out there.
All righty. So in terms of the Ranger series, it's going to be Jake Odorizzi on the mound. We don't really know who's going to be on the mound for the Rangers, and I'm not going to do the whole he's got a great curveball this time. That's a little old, but Jake Odorizzi, hopefully Martin Maldonado will be on the behind the plate, because it seems like Odorizzi, we talked about this with Clay Hensley the other day, he seems to respond better when he's behind the plate. So that's going to be the matchups for Friday. On Saturday, it's going to be Framber Valdez versus, what's his name?
Colby Allard.
Colby Allard. Yeah, he is 3-10 with a 4.86 ERA. I guess when you're on a losing team, your record's not going to be great. But he's got some good promise in the future. So, but unfortunately, he's just having a bad season. So, Framber Valdez is, I don't know if he's quite the Astros ace right now, but he can be at that any moment. He could be that pitcher, or he could be walking 5 or 6 batters. So it just depends. And the Sunday matchup is going to be Zach Greinke versus Taylor Hearn, who is 3-4 with a 4.08 ERA.
You know, he's 6'6".
Yeah,
Taylor Hearn is a big guy. And so this guy's got a lot of potential. I don't know much about him, but he's an interesting story. He's actually from Royce City, Texas, Eric. And so he is a Texas. Yeah, he's a Texas boy. He's a lefty. He's a big, tall, lanky guy. He's 26 years old.
Averages a strikeout per inning.
Yeah, and so, I mean, hey, dude, he went to Oklahoma Baptist. So, I mean, this guy probably flew under a lot of people's radar, and here he is in the major leagues. Good for him. I just really hope he doesn't do well against us when we play him.
Yeah, so hopefully the Astros just hopefully that comeback win where Jake Myers had that walk-off, I don't even know what you call that, walk-off ground out, just kind of
walk-off ground out. Yeah, that's what you call it.
So hopefully that kind of got their funk against the bad teams kind of off a little bit. But yeah, they played terrible against the Royals this year, and they needed that.
So one thing Ben Verlander pointed out on the show, and I know you're watching, and for those of y'all that did watch, you remember this. He said Jake Myers has really been someone who has saved the Astros in some of these games. He's provided a spark, and that's what you need. That's what's great about this ball club. Everybody feels like they're a part of the winning, and you love to see that.
There is some whispers around the fan base. I know fan base doesn't really control things, but there's some whispers saying that Jake Myers has taken over the center field role.
There is no way Chas McCormick comes back and starts over Jake Myers. Yeah. Not a chance. He's batting .315, Eric, and 57 at bats. He's got 3 home runs. Now he's got a walk-off to his credit. And he's playing center field really well. So I just think,
and he's got a trophy.
He does.
Yeah, he was treasuring that little YouTube trophy. So
yeah.
By the way, that's an awesome experience. I really wish they would do the YouTube more often.
You know, yeah, and I like how they brought in the hometown guy, the Jeff Blum, in there with them. I think that's a great mixture.
I really like the pitcher and the hitter. I mean, that was a good. I was after surgery, so I was able to listen to the whole thing, and the way that they're able to like go back and forth and talk about the game, that was just really awesome. Just listen to that whole thing. So, yeah, I do agree with that. So, so hopefully the Astros are able to take care of business. And who did they face after this series? It's the I'm trying to pull it up. Spinning.
It's okay. Hold on. It is Seattle.
Seattle.
We're going. That's okay. We're going to Seattle for a 3-game set. Then there's an off day on the
Right.
2nd, and then they go to San Diego for 3 games, and
Right.
then it's back home.
Okay, so yeah, cool. So the
And San
Astros,
Diego's reeling, dude. So San Diego's
right.
not even playing well right now.
So so this is going to be a good stretch of games that they're going to be playing. So they definitely need to take care of business versus the Rangers. Do it and take care of business and get some wins, because the Astros, it's not about getting to 100 wins at this point. It's about winning series. It's about staying ahead of the A's, staying ahead
It's
of the
about winning the
Mariners.
division.
Yeah,
You,
winning
you
divisions.
win
That's
the
all we care
division,
about.
and I agree with Ben Verlander. You don't want to win the first seed. Let Tampa have it, because I mean, the
You
first
don't want to play
seed.
the wild card team.
I mean, not if it's the Yankees coming off a
Yeah.
hot win. I mean, here's the thing: you're going to face the best. The Astros are going to have to overcome their pitching woes. They have the bats. Their pitchers have to show up. If pitchers show up, all bets are off. They're the favorites.
Alrighty, so guys, that's all we got. Have a great weekend, and thank y'all for subscribing to the Locked On Astros podcast. Keep on doing that, and hopefully we have a good weekend against the Rangers, and go Astros.